Hello everyone, this is Devbyte. In this episode we are going to add a zombie attack system and player damage system. Our zombie can already patrol using waypoints and follow the player. Now we want the zombie to attack when the player gets close. So let's start. First of all, open zombie controller script. Let's create a header for attack settings before declaring attack variables. Now we need multiple variables that will handle our attack system. First of all, let's add a private float attack distance and set its value to 3 for now. Attack distance will tell us from how much distance our zombie can attack the player. Next, we'll add a private float attack cooldown and set its value to 5. Attack cooldown is used to add delay between attacks. Next, we need a private float attack damage and set its value to 100. Attack damage will tell us how much health we want to reduce from this attack. Here we set the value to 100 because we want our enemy to kill player in just single attack. Next, we'll add a private float current attack time. This variable will store our current attack timer during gameplay. Now inside start, I am setting our current attack time equal to attack cooldown. I am doing this because I do not want our zombie to wait for the very first attack. Next, we'll add a new state for our attack. Now inside our follow state, we'll check if the distance between zombie and player is less than attack distance. Then we'll change the state from follow to attack. For this, let's say vector3.distance, this .transform.position. And target player .position is less than attack distance. Then simply current state equals zombie state.attack. Now let's create the attack state. For this, we'll add a new case for our attack state. I want our zombie to rotate toward the player. Let's say transform.lookat and a target player. Next, we'll set both idle and walk animation to be false and our speed to be 0. I want zombie to stop moving while attacking. Next, we want to continuously count attack timer every frame. Let's say current attack time plus equals time.delta time. Then we'll check if current attack time becomes greater than attack cooldown. Then we'll trigger attack animation. Let's say zombie animator.set trigger attack. And after attacking, we'll reset current attack time back to 0. So cooldown starts again. At the end, we'll check if distance between zombie and player is greater than attack distance. If player moves outside attack distance, then zombie will go back to follow state. Now let's create a new script to give damage to our player. Create new mono behavior class and rename this a player health. Quickly add this script to our player. Before adding health system of our player, let's open player movement script and add a bool to stop input after player dead. Let's say public bool is alive and initially set it to true. Now inside update, we'll check if not is alive, then return. Now this will stop the code execution immediately. Let's open up our player health script. First, let's create a reference of our player movement script. Private player movement. Player movement. We will use this later to disable player movement after this. Next, we'll create a private float max health and set it to 100. Max health will store the total health of our player. Next, we'll create a private float current health, and current health will store our player's current remaining health during gameplay. And set current health equal to max health because we want player to start game with full health. Then we'll get reference of player movement component from our player object. Let's erase our update method because we don't need it. Now let's create damage method public void. Take damage and pass float parameter for damage amount. First, let's subtract our current health with damage amount. Simply say current health minus equals damage amount. Now we'll check if current health becomes less than or equal to 0. If so, we'll set player movement dot is alive to false. And at the end, that debug log just to test if our death system is working correctly. Back to our zombie controller script. Let's say public void give damage. This method will be responsible for detecting player and applying damage. First, let's get colliders using physics.overlapSphere. With name hit player equals physics.overlapSphere, and position will be this.transform.position. Now we need a radius for this sphere as well. Let's add a new float. Let's add private float attack radius and set its value to 3. Let's give the radius for sphere, and it'll be attack radius. And layer will be player layer. Let's run a for each loop through all detected colliders. Now let's get player health component from detected collider. Player health equals player.get component player health. If player health component exists on detected collider, then we'll call take damage method and pass attack damage. Now, instead of directly calling give damage from our attack state, I want to call it using animation event. Select attack animation, scroll down till you see event section. Open this. Now move to the exact frame where zombie attacks the player. That's it. Zombie is perfectly attacking here. Click on add event button and paste our function name, give damage, and hit apply. Now let's drag our attack animation into animator panel. Click on any state and make transition and connect it to attack animation. And then connect the attack transition to idle. Select any state to attack transition and add new condition. But first we need to add new trigger parameter with exact name of attack. Let's set condition and select attack. One last debug in our zombie controller to check if our animation event is working or not. Now, let's test it. As you can see, our zombie is attacking correctly, and if we are outside attack radius, then zombie only attempts attack animation. But player does not take any damage. But when we come inside attack radius, you can see our damage system is working correctly. That's it for this video. In the next episode, we'll add player death effect and also stop zombie attacks after player dies. So make sure to subscribe to Devbyte, and I'll see you in the next one.